not going to give up his spot.
No.
Well, that's okay. Because I brought my own mic. You do not have to stand. The Lord be with you.
And also with you.
Let us pray. Almighty and ever-living God, source of all wisdom and understanding, be present with those who take counsel with St. Mary's Church for the renewal and mission of your church. Teach us in all things to seek first your honor and glory, guide us to perceive what is right, and grant us both the courage to pursue it and the grace to accomplish it through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Thank you, sir. Good morning.
Good morning. Do you want the meeting called to order before you begin speaking?
If you want. I'm getting paid the
It's
big...
going to be, I told you it was going to be a fun meeting. Well, you can speak first and then we'll call it to order.
That's
then
what I
you
was
say
going
is
to do.
Unofficial.
That way I don't have to be on the record and the clerk doesn't have to take notes. This is going to be quick. It's been a hell of a year. And we've been on a good path, to quote the good father this morning. When I was musing about what I was going to say, 4 things popped to mind, and they kept recurring over and over again in the weeks leading up to this, and we've been working on this for going on 6 weeks. And the 4 things are this, and in no certain order. Number 1, we've realized this year what a true gem we have in Pastor Norris, who was thrust into a situation he did not know was going to occur. And we realized, man's got some chops. Number 2, Judy Nauer is really good with newcomers. And the committee and the bonding she's empowered, and the meet and greets have been, I've heard nothing but positives. And that's usually not what a warden gets. We get the complaints, as anybody who's been a warden knows. So thank you to Ms. Judy, if you're watching us or you're here in spirit. Number 3, lemonade on the lawn. Ms. Marion has pushed us again to please come together as a congregation, and we've done that. And we've moved from outside to in, and nothing is stronger to form cohesiveness than people spending time together. And thank you, Ms. Marion. And number 4, this one doesn't happen that often, but it's about once every week, 10 days, something along those lines. I'll get a call, I'll get a text, I'll get a tug on the arm, and someone will say to me, Brad, can we just keep Father Scott? So the answer is we're on a good path, and we're going to unveil that to you today. I thank you for your time and your patience. God bless us.
Thank you, sir. Now, I will call this meeting to order and ask the clerk of the vestry if we have a quorum.
Yes.
He's so easy. All right, I believe it's your duty to call for the approval of the minutes from 2022. If you just speak into the mic, then everyone can hear you, including those who are joining us virtually on live stream today. Thank you.
Minutes from last year are in the annual report. Are there any, is there a motion to approve? All those in favor? Aye. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to move up here for this part. So, first of all, we decided that since we're going to have a lovely brunch downstairs and we have lovely technology downstairs, so that we can see a slide presentation, that instead of having the slide presentation up here during the meeting itself, the slides will be rotating through during our brunch today. So make sure you take some time to look at the screen. Our community engagement staffer, Allison Brizette has put together a wonderful slideshow of images for you to view during our brunch today. So the first thing we are doing today, and most of what we're doing today, is about thank yous. And I know I don't need to tell you what an extraordinary staff we have, but I'm going to tell you anyway. So rather than have you applaud individually, because I know you'll want to applaud individually, let me just go through and remind you who is on staff and what their role and responsibility is, and then we can thank them as a group at the end. If they are in the room, I'll ask them to stand. They're not all here today for various reasons, but they've all have excused absences, so that's okay. So Dr. Mark Lawler, who you get to see and hear every week. Where are you, Mark? Here hiding behind a pillar and post. He is someone that we actually get to see and hear, and we know his extraordinary work. But before we recognize him with all the staff, how about the music today and all of our guests? Julie Remy, I know she's running around somewhere. Where did you run to now? Oh, you're right up front. Oh, stand up so people can see you. Julie, some of you get to see. We're going to hold our applause. I know you all want to applaud each individually, and they'll get it all together, but that's fine. Yes, applaud in the air. That's lovely. Some of you get to see her if you go into the office. Certainly you get to see the work of her labor in a lot of the print material that we have, but Julie works tirelessly for this congregation, and I have to say she is an extraordinary administrator and an incredible colleague to have to work with. She makes my job so much easier day by day. Allison Brissett, our technical wizard and community engagement person, and gardens, there's so many hats that she wears. She left most of them at home today because they wouldn't all fit in the car. Allison, too, has a beautiful spirit and a wonderful way of engaging people. Community engagement is a great title for her job because she really does engage with the breadth of not only the St. Mary's community, but the greater community at large. And again, a wonderful colleague to have to keep us moving forward and focused. Colleen Mason is our finance coordinator. Colleen oftentimes gets to hear from you when there's a problem, but there are rarely problems, so she doesn't get to hear from you too much. But she keeps our books in order and is a right hand to our treasurer. And Barry would say this if he were standing here. It's always the person behind the treasurer that really makes things happen. And Colleen is definitely that person. She's away with family this weekend, why she is not here. And Lanny Carroll is, I believe, the newest member of our staff and has been here 6-7 months more, going on a year. I can't remember when he came. He came before I did, anyway. Lanny is wonderful. I've worked with a lot of church sextons in my day, and I'll tell you, he has such a wonderful way of just going about doing things that need to be done. Things can be pointed out to him on occasion, but he's very, he looks at things with a great eye, and he has great initiative. We'll mention something to him, and he'll go above and beyond the call to get things done. So Lanny is also a wonderful part of this staff. It really is a great cohesive staff. Before I came here and learned that the staff met every week, my reaction was sort of like, oh. But then I got to know the staff, and I look forward, yes, I really do. I look forward to the staff meeting each week because there is a great deal of joy that emanates from this staff. Let's see. My colleague, Dr. Russ Norris, Pastor Russ. Again, without this colleague, I would be toast. You know, again, and this is not a pejorative on other people because, you know, God gives, there's a variety of gifts, but the same Spirit. Russ has a pastor's heart. Not all priests have pastors' hearts. And again, that's not a negative against the priest, but different people have different gifts and skills. Russ has a pastor's heart, and he is such a wonderful, not only colleague, but resource for this congregation. I know you know that already, but I raise him up in that role. Did I miss anyone? I hope not, because I actually have the list in front of me, so I don't. And I put Janice in a different category. And anyone where is Janice? Anyone who knows Janice puts her in a different category. And she loves that fact. Janice is both a member of the regular church staff, but she also has this extraordinary ministry and mission with Angels Treasures. And you do get to see her not only in the shop, but you get to see her in the choir, and you get to see her up here when she's hawking her sales. But Janice is here day and night to work on our benefit, because as you look at the budget and you look at our income lines, Angels Treasures does an incredible thing to put money into the budget of this church to allow this church to do mission and ministry. And Janice has a heart for mission, and it's very clear in the way that she does her work. And again, an exceptional group of colleagues, and we are so fortunate to have each and every one of them here. So now, feel free.
Good morning. Good morning. Well, on behalf of the vestry, I want to thank all of you who volunteer at St. Mary's. And as I look out, I see that almost all of you do. I want to thank those of you who volunteer at church, and those of you who work from home, those of you who work alone, those of you who work in teams, those who volunteer regularly, as well as those who do a one-time job, those who serve in the daytime, and those who prefer to work at night. In short, there are opportunities for everyone, plenty to go around. The challenge is to share your talents and interests to help make our parish all that it can be. Help to shoulder the load of making the engine of St. Mary's run. We can't let it all fall to the staff and the clergy. In this post-COVID era, many of us have retreated to our own safe pods. The challenge before us now is to find our safe way to rebuild the vibrant community in which we can all participate. This year, we will honor 2 volunteers who stand tall among their peers. They have stepped forward to share their talents in so many ways, both as individuals and as a couple. They contribute to community events, such as auctions and Veterans Day. They frequently work for the kitchen, in the kitchen, cooking and cleaning up. They sing in the choir. They have been a major force behind St. Mary's commitment to Habitat. They have hosted a meet and greet for Scott, and they have served as diocesan reps for several years. He's a regular at the Tuesday morning breakfast gathering, and she joins the Thursday morning discussion group. She's been the driving force behind the quilts for Amazing Grace campers. She has co-chaired the Collations Committee and the Events Committee and served on the Newcomers Committee. He's a member of the Search Committee, and he serves at the altar and was a guest preacher last summer. Rob and Bev Park, please come forward to accept our gratitude.
As you know, when July 4th weekend rolled around, Pastor Russ went from X to A through Z. And for that, we would like to have him come up and receive a thank you from the wardens. Pastor Russ? I've got to use the mic because we have some people sharing with us at home, but normally I slide over. As you know, Russ loves trains, and so we looked for a place for him and Dixie to go to the Caboose restaurant, or, Boxcar Willie's. And there hasn't been a Boxcar Willie's since the early 90s, and we couldn't find a Caboose, but we said bridge, the flying bridge. So we hope you and Dixie will enjoy a great meal on the water in Falmouth Harbor. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
At this point, I'd like to invite our search committee co-chair to come forward and give us an update. Peter Scarafile.
Good morning. What a tough act to follow, thanking all the volunteers, great people. I was told once a great speech is one that has a great beginning, a memorable end, and not much time in between. So also, when I look at this presentation, I say one of the best things computers do is make the fonts bigger. You ever notice that? Well, I do want to thank the entire search committee. We've worked very hard to try to get our nuts and bolts done. And without getting into the weeds, we really want to get things ready to present ourselves out there for a potential applicant. And things like updating our website so we don't have pictures of me when I had black hair, and on the website. So it seems like a simple thing, but one of the first things people do is look at our website. So we want to do that. And certainly the next most important thing to do is to update our parish profile. And so what we've done is that we've contracted with a company that produces what they call a church assessment tool, and it's affectionately called a CAT. And I want to read to you something that Peter Gwynn put together so nicely for us, and then we'll talk a little bit about that. It's finally here. After many announcements that it would soon be available, you know that you have a chance to complete the church assessment tool, or CAT. This is an online instrument that will help guide your search committee in understanding your thoughts about St. Mary's Parish today and the type of rector who can best lead it forward in the future. The information from this assessment will help the search committee craft a profile of our parish that will be available to potential candidates. It will help them understand whether or not our parish is a good fit for their skills and spiritual direction. Your participation in this extensive survey will give you the chance to have your thoughts, ideas, and aspirations for St. Mary's fully considered in the search for a new rector. We can't overstate its importance and how valuable your own participation will be. If you remember in the early 1900s in Chicago, the political machine there says, vote early, vote often. Well, this is not the case here. You'll get an online assessment, those of you who have an email, and it'll take about 45 minutes or so to do it, and it's worth doing. It's at least 100 questions, and it's worth your effort to get it to us. For those of you who do not want to do it online, the online one, it's anonymous, we won't know that. For those of you who want to do it, a paper copy, we'll have that available. Sue Gilson was right, I saw Sue earlier, right there helping us do that. And those will be available. They will be numbered, and then somebody will enter it for you, but still be anonymous. Only one person will know about it, and we will hold them accountable. They'll be very discreet about that. So we want each and every one of you to do it individually, not as a family, not as a group, individually. So if you don't have emails on file here at St. Mary's and you want to add another one, please do that. So we want to update that so you get that. A notice will go out pretty soon. So this is going to start around March 1st, the survey. It'll end on March 22nd. So you have a few weeks to do this. And we hope you will be able to complete this in that time. In the next few weeks also, we'll have people from the search committee attend services, and after the service, we'll answer questions. We'll go either up in the library or downstairs, depending on what the room's available, and we'll go over any of the, not the individual questions that you'll have to answer, but any questions on how the survey works. So, let's see the notes I have here. So remember, if you need a paper copy of the survey, Sue Gilson will do that, and you'll get a letter very shortly. We'll have Sue's contacts if you need to reach her to get that. And you'll get a self-stamped envelope to return it as well. And I think I have anything. Any search committee people have any other comments you want to add?
I would like you to invite search members to stand, and you can introduce them as they stand.
They
That'll
can
put you
stand.
on the spot.
No, they can do that.
Whoever's here for
Barbara
search,
and Sue.
Please stand.
Rob, that's right. Arlene, Bill, sure. And Emery? Dorothy? Yeah, it was Dorothy. Oh, Dorothy's standing back, of course. You are standing? The vertically challenged. And Stella, I didn't mention Stella. Peter is the one that puts our publications together so thoughtfully every week. Oh, no, do we have anybody else? Did I miss anybody?
Where is
I said Rob, right? What's that? Tamea, of course, Tamea. And I guess I have her.
Can I ask a question about the survey?
Sure.
Once the information is gathered, does this company assess and decide this is the way St. Mary's should go, or does the vestry review all of these answers?
The vestry does not review the answers. The search committee will have a consultant come down.
Not the vestry, I meant
Yeah.
the search committee.
The search committee will have a consultant come, and we already made that arrangement for April. So our goal is to have this done by the end of the spring, to have that all together and the assessment done. So, yes.
I just wanted to add, as you had asked, if we needed to add anything, it needs to be done in one sitting. And when I did it, it took about 20 minutes. So it doesn't always have to be 45 minutes, but one sitting is the...
So you can't start it, stop it, come back later. All right, so allow yourself about 45 minutes. Barbara's a lot smarter than the rest of us, so she can get that done more quickly, but, okay. So if you have your questions, remember, in the next couple of weeks, we'll answer those questions right after the services, including the 8 o'clock. We have a couple of brave people that want to come at 8 o'clock in the morning. Barbara, I think it is, right? So, all right, thank you very much.
And now, if our techno wizard is ready, she's gonna escort Barry into the room. We're gonna move him to the center.
Good morning. Sorry I can't be with you this morning, but I am pleased to report to you that St. Mary's...
He's so eager to speak that we can't even get him in the room. All right. Now, Allison, you're going to have to restart. Okay.
You can make the volume anymore.
Or we can use a mic.
No, we've got it mic'd. It's all good. He starts quiet and gets louder in 5 seconds.
Finances are strong. At the end of 2022...
Barry decided to take this weekend off. Great timing.
Good morning. Sorry I can't be with you here this morning, but I am pleased to report to you that St. Mary's finances are strong. At the end of 2022, we had $5,130,000 in current assets compared to $5,638,000 at the end of 2021. Although our endowment accounts decreased, our money managers at Cape Cod 5 and DIT outperformed their benchmarks during a soft market. We had budgeted for a loss of $30,000 and closed the year with a gain of $19,000. I believe that St. Mary's was truly blessed by God as we recovered from the pandemic during 2022. It's important to recognize that St. Mary's finances are much more than a sheet of numbers. It was built on a foundation that began in 1888, a foundation of love and caring that has not only lasted but thrived for nearly 135 years. In addition to the people that helped prepare today's budget, I want to remember all the families that came before us that left a legacy that continues to guide us. Their spirit is one of God's gifts. I know one thing, none of us would be sitting here if it wasn't for those prior generations. I pray that their spirit will help guide us toward the best financial decisions through 2023. Looking at our assets, our current checking and money market account balance was $216,000, which includes $38,000 in our operating checking account, $5,000 in a rental security account, $29,000 in the capital campaign account, $110,000 in the thrift shop checking account, $29,000, almost $30,000 in the emergency capital reserve account, and $34,000 in a money market account at the Coop. The endowment accounts show a combined total of $4,909,000 from assets invested in DIT and Cape Cod 5 accounts. As mentioned earlier, the total current assets were $5,130,000. Liabilities show a balance of $14,700. Our net ordinary income was a profit of $19,400 after deducting $809,000 from $828,000 in income. The income came primarily from pledges, donations, and budgeted endowment draws. In addition, we were blessed to have a group of angels, led by Janice, bring in over $108,000 from Angels Treasures. Expenses came from $78,000 in assessments, $444,000 in personnel, $89,000, almost $90,000 in operating expenses, $75,600 in repairs and maintenance, and almost $119,000 in parish work. Turning to the 2023 budget. First, I want to thank Colleen, Father Scott, the wardens, the Finance Committee, the vestry, and all the ministry leaders for their help in preparing the budget. In summary, the proposed 2023 budget includes $829,000 in income, $871,000 in expense, leaving a gap of $42,000 in net income. Excluding the search committee budget of $25,600, the gap is reduced to $16,300, which is less than the gap of $30,000 in the 2022 budget. A breakdown of the income and expense components follows. The restricted income is $22,000 compared to $39,000 in 2022. The biggest change is the exclusion of the Summer Eats program. Unrestricted income is $806,000 compared to $730,000. The biggest changes are pledges, unpledged, and Angels Treasures income. The assessment is $78,940 compared to $78,390. Personnel is $481,000 versus $429,000. The changes are associated with adding a sexton and going from 3/4 to a full-time rector. Operating expenses are $108,000 compared to $81,000, mostly due to the search committee. Repairs and maintenance expense grow to $82,700 from $79,000 due to church grounds maintenance. Parish work expenses drop to $120,000 from $132,000. A majority of that was from the Summer Eats program expenses. Parish work includes outreach, which is $69,000, up from $60,000 in 2022. The draw from the restricted endowment funds is unchanged at 4%. The draw from unrestricted endowment funds is 5%, which is up slightly from 4.7%. There are a couple of things that are important to understand before approving this budget. A key assumption related to income is the use of 100% of the 2023 pledges of $343,000, rather than the usual 97% in the current draft. This is based on the percent of pledges that have been received over the past few years. 99% for 2022 and 2021, 101% for 2020, and 101% for 2019. The second assumption is that actual unpledged income of $53,600 for 2022 will be repeated in 2023. Without adopting these two assumptions, the gap would increase to over $70,000. A gap of this magnitude would require a significant reduction in expense and/or increases in other income line items. Bottom line is that although there is some risk in the income assumptions, it is also possible that the search committee may not need their full budget this year. So rather than taking painful steps that may not be necessary, the Finance Committee and the vestry both approved the proposed budget with the understanding that there may be a need to approve an additional one-time draw from the endowment to cover search committee expenses during 2023. Before I ask for your approval of the 2022 financial report and the 2023 budget, I want to bring you up to date on a couple of items of significance to St. Mary's finances. The first is the audit plan, and we plan to use the services of a CPA consultant from the diocese to conduct the audit of our 2022 financials at a cost of $500. The renovation and capital campaign pledges, including the solar panels, the total renovation expenses, including solar panels, from planning in 2017 through the end of 2022 totaled $2,238,000 versus $1,838,000 in donations, leaving the remaining $390,000. 2023 is the fifth year of the capital campaign. Although by any measure it was an amazing success, it would be fantastic if the remaining $390 could be covered by donations in 2023. Next item is planned giving. You may have noticed information related to the 1891 Society that was started in 2021. The Society is intended to help parishioners with end-of-life planning and create an awareness of options for including St. Mary's in their estate plans. We will be providing more information on this in the coming months. In closing, I feel very fortunate to be part of such a great team, and we are continuing the legacy of all those that came before us. It would not be possible without the diligence of the vestry, the ministry leaders, and the efforts of the members of the Finance Committee, including Father Scott, Brad, Marion, Peter, Lee, John, and Colleen. I also want to thank the Investment Subcommittee, Rip Hawk, Dick Cryan, Wes Blair, John Damon, and our money market managers at Cape Cod 5 and DIT for all the expert advice they provided. Special thanks go to Father Scott, Brad, and Marion for their guidance, and to Colleen, Julie, and Allison for their steady hand as our finance coordinator, parish administrator, and community engagement manager throughout a challenging year of unique financial requirements. Is there a motion to accept the 2022 financial report and 2023 budget? Thank you very much for your time this morning, and enjoy the rest of the day.
So was there a second on that motion? Okay, so we have a moved and seconded, and now is there any discussion, any questions that anyone needs to ask?
We have one.
I was wondering if there was a line about the preschool and about the fees that they pay. Where is that built into the budget?
The preschool.
Preschool.
Fees.
The preschool arrangement is simply a rental agreement, and there should be in the budget some rental income from that preschool. I could look for the line, but I'm pretty sure it's there.
It is there. I can't remember what the line
There's no
number
other
is.
financial arrangement with the preschool other than they pay rent.
Which is what, around $1,000 a month?
I couldn't tell you what it is.
Yeah.
Does that
Yes.
answer your question? Does that get to your question? Okay.
I see a hand way in the back, I believe.
Point of order. I make a motion to accept the motion proposed by the video, please.
The motion is already on the floor. This is the time for questions.
But the motion has to be made by Robert's rules on the floor.
Okay. I guess.
All right, is there a motion to accept the budget as presented? Is there a second? Any other discussion? Any other questions? Seeing, hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you. And thank you, Barry, for all his good work, and the Finance Committee. Yes, that's applause-worthy. Well, there's an idea. I believe it is being taped because we are Zooming today. So, all right, let's see. I believe
Outgoing volunteers.
outgoing vestry member,
Right.
or yes. So, Senior Warden Brad.
I don't believe Robin Green's with us today, unfortunately, but if Kay could come on up, and Amy Crocker. I see Amy, and
There
I
they
see
are.
Kay. There we go.
Come on down. You'll be happy you did.
These two ladies served the vestry for 3 years. Robin Green as well, 5 years. I'm just talking about the last 3 years on the vestry. We've all had turnarounds so people can see you.
To clarify membership next year.
They bring a whole wealth of knowledge and experience. A quick blurb on each. Amy keeps us rock solid and always seems to ask that one question that we all look and say, ooh. And then we delve into it.
not, but I think it would be
And
wise
Kay's
to
lasting
at least
legacy is
find out.
transparency. She pushed back against Libby many times and said we should publish the vestry minutes. And even though the meetings are open and anybody's welcome to attend and the minutes are ensconced in Julie's office in a nice folder, she thought it should be more transparent and published with the e-blasts. And Libby finally said, you know, that's a good idea, and the vestry voted, and that is Kay's lasting legacy, complete transparency. So for that, we would like to say thank you. And a round of applause. Yeah.
We'd also like to thank those who have served in another capacity, Judd Phelps, who worked with the Cape Cod Council of Churches, Rob and Bev, who were our diocesan delegates and whose excellent report is in your annual report. I commend it to all of you. And also to thank the deanery reps, Ed Outwin and Russ Norris. We normally, the clergy automatically serve as deanery reps. And this year, going forward, you'll notice that we have combined the role of deanery rep and diocesan rep so that the same persons will go to the deanery meetings, which are Zoomed, and will go to the diocesan convention. So thank you, all of you, for your service.
Right, at this time, we have two elections coming up. The first is for the vestry class of 2025. And in the annual report, you can see their photos and their bios, but I will ask them to stand as I call their names. And these are in alphabetical order. Lally Lloyd. Okay. And just for for a moment, would you lower your mask so people can see your face? Great. Thank you. Oh, that's Lally Lloyd. I recognize you now. Okay. And Chris Lowe, are you here? There she is. Okay, Chris. And Jane Martin. There's Jane. And so this is a slate that has been determined by a nominating committee, and so I would entertain a motion to approve this slate for the class of 2025. Is there a second? Second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Thank you. And then we have two other categories, and we will do these all together. For diocesan convention and Cape and Island deanery delegates, we have Henry Ramage, and we have Bernie Winthrop. And then for representatives to the Cape Cod Council of Churches, we have Amy Crocker and Susan Goodspeed. Who's in Morocco. Well, can she still serve? Oh, sure, yeah, okay. Hi, Susan, if you're watching remotely. All right, so I would entertain a motion to approve that slate. A second? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Lovely. All right, then we will go right into the commissioning. Pastor Russ, why don't you step up to the lectern? And then I'm going to ask, when your name is called eventually by Pastor Russ, I will ask those people individually to stand and remain standing in your place, please. Sisters and brothers in Christ, we are all baptized by the one Spirit into one body and given gifts for a variety of ministries for the common good. We now commission the following persons in the name of God and of this congregation to the special ministries to which they have each been called and to which you have been elected them. Russ?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were going to read the next
Oh, I
sentence.
said it earlier.
Okay. Don't want to be a stickler for details. I present Brad Goodwin to serve as senior warden and Marion Ferguson to serve as junior warden for the ensuing year. I present Hub Mathewson to serve as clerk of the vestry for the ensuing year. I present Bill Babcock, Sally Cameron, Beth Hearn, Dave Naraki, Patrick Ramage, Carolyn Thomas, Lally Lloyd, Christine Lowe, and Jane Martin to serve as members of the vestry for their appointed terms of office. I present Henry Ramage and Bernice Winthrop to serve as delegates to the Diocesan Convention and the Cape and Islands Deanery for the ensuing year. And I present Amy Crocker and Susan Goodspeed to serve as representatives to the Cape Cod Council of Churches for the ensuing year.
Are these persons you present prepared by a commitment to Christ as Lord, by regular attendance at worship, and by the knowledge of their duties to exercise their ministry to the honor of God and the well-being of God's church?
I believe they are.
Will each of you who have been elected to serve St. Mary's Church in the coming year endeavor faithfully and reverently to execute the duties of your ministry to the honor of God and to the benefit of the members of this congregation? If so, please answer, I will. I will. Let us pray. Eternal God, the foundation of all wisdom and the source of all courage, enlighten with your grace the wardens, officers, vestry, and representatives of this congregation, and so rule their minds and guide their counsels, that in all things they may seek your glory and promote the mission of your church through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. In the name of God and of this congregation, I commission you each to the office and role to which you have been elected. May God bless you in your labors on behalf of St. Mary's Church.
Yeah.
discussions and questions.
Okay, then. It's only 2 minutes after 11, and Marion says we have to kill... No, she didn't say that. Time. Sorry.
Ready at 11:30.
Yeah. Kill time. Time, which we can't do either. But if there are any questions or any discussions you'd like to have, maybe about the gospel this morning, or wise people. Yes?
I would just like to comment.
Hold that thought. Because if we don't get to use this at least once, we'll have lost out. Now put that close to your mouth, please.
I'll even take the mask down. I'm Chris Greeley. I just want to commend and thank all of you for an incredible piece of work. I know this was not done by accident. It was done with a great deal of work and really a lot of clarification and really an impressive piece of work, as was this meeting today. So just thank everyone who had any involvement in all of this for really making such an interesting, informative, and productive meeting. Thank you.
Before your question, I just wanted to comment on something Chris said, and that is there will be an addendum, as if you didn't think it was long enough. Somehow the report on the newly developing Friends Committee between St. Mary's and First Lutheran Church was omitted from the print copy, but we will make sure that that report gets in so that people are aware of what's going on there.
Yes, and with regards to your sermon this morning, I was wondering and hoping that maybe as quickly as possible you could hear my confession.
I suppose I shouldn't say what I'm about to say. I was just curious, how much time shall we set aside? Whenever you're ready. In fact, Lent is coming, a wonderful time for sacramental confession. Thank you. Other questions, thoughts, comments for the good of the order? Oh, all the way up front. We're making Julie do her steps today. Anne-Marie, tell us who you are.
Yeah, Emery Anderson. A lot of thank yous have been given this morning, well deserved, but I think I can speak on behalf of the whole congregation to say we owe you, Father Scott, a huge debt of thanks. Harking back to one of your early sermons where you said saying thank you is really a good thing. So we say thank you to you.
Thank you. It truly is a joy to be here, and you're very welcome.
Hi, I'm Laurel Galvin. I just want to know, there are people on Zoom. Will this be online?
It actually was sent out in the e-news on Friday, and we will add that other report, and it'll probably get in e-news again maybe the next time.
Obviously, I didn't read the whole thing.
Well, that's okay. There's always a lot, and there are different links to look at and such, so yes, it will. By the way, when you leave today, we very much encourage and invite you to take copies with you. If you need a copy, just dash off a note to the office. Don't inundate us with phone calls, but just send an email, and we'll make sure additional print copies can be available in the back. If you want to leave your copy when you leave, just put it maybe on the back pew when you go out. But we do encourage you to take it and read it, and if we need more print copies, we can make those available. This meeting has only gone 50 minutes, by the way. Now you're on the hook.
Sorry, this will be quick. I'm Lizzie Magruder. I'm one of the co-chairs of the Outreach Committee. And as you saw in the annual report, this year we're going to have $69,000 to disperse in the greater community and beyond. And I really want to encourage all of you, if you know of an organization that the Outreach Committee should be aware of, please ask them to go onto the St. Mary's website and fill out an application and return it. We have 2 distribution times, one in April and another in October. So if they don't get it in before the 1st of April, we'll definitely have it on our eyesight on it come October. But as I say, this is a wonderful time for St. Mary's to be known in the greater community, and our thanks to Angels Treasures for really making our budget so large. And to all of you who, if you don't know, 5% of your pledge that you give to St. Mary's goes to outreach. So thank you all.
I know we have a couple of planned announcements. We're going to have Dr. Mark Lawler come up first so that he can find his way back to a keyboard, any keyboard, to lead us in song in a moment or two. But if you have announcements that you need to make, now is the time to cue.
Hi, I just wanted to remind you that tickets go on sale today. Thank you. But what the tickets are for, we're having a Celtic concert here at church March the 12th at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, followed by an Irish happy hour downstairs. And this is a fundraiser for the church. The choir is helping to sponsor this, and we're asking a donation of $25 for these tickets. And Barbara and I will both be downstairs with tickets for you and after church for the next few weeks as well. Last time we did a concert like this, it was a fundraiser for choir robes, but this is just kind of a general fundraiser. But that last fundraiser was sold out early. So I just want to make sure. Jean Prendergast will be our soprano for the concert, as well as Tom Dutton, who used to play the harp here for the first Sunday Celtic services that we used to do. So it's Celtic harp and soprano, and then some great libations and food downstairs afterwards. So hopefully we'll get some tickets sold this morning. Actually, they didn't go on sale today, but I already have 10 people who signed up. So great.
Are you queuing or just standing? Queue up, come on. Whoever wants to speak needs to come up, queue up. We're wrapping up soon. This one
I wasn't going to speak, but I really felt compelled to this week. I helped and volunteered with Half Day Hooray, and it was the best thing I have done at this church in a long time. It was so much fun. There's not a whole lot to do, but Allison could use a few more volunteers. She makes it super fun for the kids. These are neighborhood kids, mostly from BWB, who need a place to stay, be safe, have fun, have a lunch, so they don't get into mischief for their half days of school. So there's one March 15th, I believe, and then April, the first week of April. It's on the school calendar. These half days are laid out in the fall, so you'll see them. But it's one of the best ministries I've seen around, and it's just so much fun. So come and play with us, and I'm going to be here next time in April and March. So, just wanted to say that.
I saw you coming out of the session the other day, and I thought you were the one that was playing. And I think you were, weren't you? You had fun, didn't you? Yes. Please, Bernie, step up.
Now, just so that you know who I am, I'm Bernice Winthrop, and Amy's with me because I don't do anything alone for EFM. If you have been in EFM ever in the past, please stand up. Come on.
There's a few.
Aha! They know what EFM is.
A plant.
Where is Helen? Stand up. Education for Ministry is a program from University of the South in Swanee, Tennessee. There is a little blurb about it in the annual report. We are looking for people for two things. April 13th and April 20th, it's only 2 weeks. Okay, we're going to read Healing Our Broken Humanity, and we would invite everyone, anyone, everyone, we'll figure it out. Hint, hint. If we have a lot of people, but we would like you to join us for that discussion. EFM is a program for education to learn how to be not a priest, but a minister. And there are lots of ministers in this church. First year, you study Old Testament. Second year, you study New Testament. Third year, you study church history. Fourth year, you study theology. You don't have to make a... Oh, Rebecca, you didn't stand up either. Rebecca, stand up.
Yes, Mom.
Now I've lost my train of thought. You don't have to make a 4-year commitment. You can make a 1 year at a time commitment, but you have to take them in that order. And next September, we need people because we have people, well, we don't have people graduating this year, but we need people to join EFM so that we can continue. And anything else? What am I forgetting?
Oh, she's forgetting that we're a really fun bunch of people and we're quite entertaining. So not only is it educational, but it's a good time.
Yeah, we do have fun, and I can be mean like I was to Helen and Rebecca.
Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bernie Winthrop.
I'll be quick. I haven't been here in at least 2 years, and it's so exciting to be here. And I'm Deanna Cry, and I have a different hair color, Some people don't know who I am until they hear my voice under my mask. But I wanted to thank all of you and just keep in mind the prayer list. It's so special to know and hear that you're praying for us that have been on it and are about to go off it. And also, because of that inability to be here in person, I wanted to especially thank the unsung heroes who have worked so hard and diligently at the technology involved with creating the Zoom and YouTube and all those things that help your fellow members connect from afar. So thank you all so much.
Marion gets the last word.
Well, one quick reminder that downstairs is lunch. There are strata that have been prepared by the Angels of Annual Meeting and salad. We've set the table for 70, so there's plenty of room for you, and cookies for dessert. Please join us.
I will entertain a motion. Don't leave yet. Entertain a motion to adjourn. All in favor, please stand if you are able.
Second.
You want a second? I'm sorry, we can't adjourn. There was no second. That's what I thought, but I don't challenge the senior warden. You may. The Lord be with you. Let us pray. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make God's face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. God lift up God's countenance upon you and give you peace. Amen. Amen. Our closing hymn, we thought it would be fun to sing ourselves out today, is on the back of the booklet or in the hymnal, page 304, verses 1 and 5. Writing or looking up?
Look up, I guess. And smiling.